In Starfield, ship customization is the process of creating new spaceships or making modifications to ones that you already have. And in Starfield, you can pay to have your ship's modules changed, including adding weapons, engines, shields, grav drives, cargo, reactors, and much more. And in this video, we'll be doing a complete guide to customizing your ship in Starfield. We'll go over how you can build your ship in Starfield, and we'll also look at all of the customization options that you have access to. But just before we do get into all of that, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Instant Gaming. On Instant Gaming, you can get insanely good prices for insanely good games, just like Starfield. You can pick up Starfield at a really good discount, this either being the premium edition or the standard edition of the game. You can get much cheaper than anywhere else, so be sure to use Instant Gaming to pick up your games in the future. And even if you're not on PC, you can buy yourself Xbox and PlayStation games on here as well, so everyone really can benefit from using Instant Gaming. So be sure to use that link in the description to be able to get yourself some really cheap games. So, to begin customizing your ship in Starfield, you'll first need to find a ship technician, an NPC near where you land that effectively functions as a vendor. Technicians let you buy and sell parts, pay for repairs, and buy and sell entire ships as well as being the characters who will actually modify your ship to your required specifications. Now, different modules fit together at certain attachment points, and by sticking together various sections of spaceships, you can build up a ship that fits to your needs and interests, with all sorts of variety on offer. So, now let's look at the different modules and components that you can customize within Starfield. So, first of all, there are the cockpits. Now, of course, cockpits are essential modules that are simply where your ship is flown from. This is where you will actually control the ship. Along with that, the cockpit is where you access the cargo hold. The differences, to be honest, with this are mainly aesthetic, though some can actually offer some more crew stations and a bit of extra cargo space, which is always going to be good. And then of course there are the engines. Now engines are of course another very essential module. These are used to, well, move your ship through space. And the more engines you have, the faster and more agile your ship will become, with different engines providing different levels of speed or control. So yeah, obviously engines are a pretty obvious one really, since, well, you're going to need those for your ship to even work. And then there are the grav drives. Now grav drives are the technology that allows your ship to jump from the star system to star system. Improved grav drives will allow you to go further in a singular jump. And if you want to make sure an enemy ship can't escape, you can target and obliterate their grav drive as a priority to be able to make sure that, yeah, well, they don't get away easily. Moving on, we have reactors. Now reactors are a very expensive but also an essential part of the ship. They are the source of power from which your systems draw their energy. Better reactors will generate more power and repair faster when damaged, so a pretty important thing there. And then there are missile weapons. Now missiles serve their own function. Though slower to fire and use, their primary purpose is to actually target and destroy specific systems, such as enemy shields and engines. Next up is energy weapons. Now energy weapons are designed to destroy the shields of enemy ships, with various lasers and suppressors burning through that defensive bubble, so your ballistic weapons can shred the physical elements beneath them. And moving on from that, we do have the ballistic weapons. Now ballistic weapons are those that fire actual solid bullets like cannons and autocannons, and do more damage to a ship's hull than they do to its shields. Depending on the type you buy, some may be fast firing machine guns, while others do let off slow individual slugs, so these can really vary. Next up is shields, which is actually, yeah, one of the most important parts of the ship in my opinion. So shields are modules that protect your ship with a bubble of regenerating energy. Shields can get damaged heavily, of course, by energy weapons, and the more power you put into maintaining them, the tougher they'll be and the quicker they come back. So there really is no downside to a shield taking damage in the long run. So yeah, it's the hull underneath that you really need to protect. But I would really recommend making sure that you've got a stronger shield ready, since you really never know when those enemies might come at you. So next up is dockers. Now dockers are the little hatches that connect your ship with others, or with space stations like the eye in orbit around Jemison. The only real difference with dockers is whether you want to leave your ship via the ceiling or through the wall. So then there are bays, and these are pretty straightforward. A landing bay is the other half of the docker, a ramp and door built into the bottom of the ship that you can use to access it after landing on a planet or moon. So the next one's a pretty important one, and that is the fuel tanks. Now fuel tanks specifically store the helium-3 needed for the ship's grav drive, used for the long distance light speed jumps from system to system. Larger tanks allow for further or more frequent jumps before refueling, and yeah, don't worry, the fuel tanks will actually refuel automatically after every single jump, which is yeah, very convenient. So next up is gear, and these are also referred to as landers, and this is your landing gear, the legs that your ship stands on when it drops onto an actual planet. And you need enough landing gear on your ship to actually support it, which usually means at least one at the front and another one at the back, and to be honest, probably more than that to be on the safe side. And there you go, that is pretty much absolutely everything that you can customize on your ship and everything that you should take note of on your ship in Starfield. Those are all the options that you can change within the game. So now let's actually look at how you can build a ship. Now, unfortunately, you can't exactly completely build a ship from scratch, but there is a way you can do it if you really want to. So first of all, you do need to actually own a ship, but this literally takes about 30 minutes to, into the game until you actually do already own one. And then you want to make sure that you get to the ship builder screen. And basically, you just need to enter the ship builder option, and then you can select each component of the ship you're viewing and actually just delete them. And then this will leave you with a completely blank canvas where theoretically you can start from scratch, but of course, you're just sort of reusing the components that were already there with that ship. And yeah, so the ship builder screen is basically where you do customize your ship, and it will come up with errors and things that you do need to look at, and it won't actually let you use the ship until all the errors and warnings have been cleared, or well, the warnings will be fine, but you just need to make sure all of those red errors are gone. And then once you have a blue reading that says nominal in the bottom right corner of your screen, this means that you are actually clear of all errors and warnings, and your ship will perform as expected. So yeah, basically just make sure that it's actually going to work well, and then you'll be good to go, really. So yeah, the ship customization obviously is a really big part of the game, and something that you could easily spend many hours in. But so yeah, you can't really build a ship from scratch, but at the same time, you sort of can if you really genuinely want the idea of building it from complete scratch. Just remove every component in the scene and then just start from scratch, basically. But yeah, you do need to own a ship, but yeah, like I said, that takes about 30 minutes. But there you go, that is how to completely customize your ship. That is everything you can customize on a ship, and how you can actually build a ship from scratch if you want to within Starfield. That's a complete guide. You shouldn't really need to know anything else. There isn't really much else to it. That does just about cover absolutely everything regarding customizing your ship within Starfield. Be sure to subscribe so you do stay up to date with all the latest Starfield info, tips and tricks. I'll be doing loads and loads of videos on Starfield, so yeah, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any content just like this. Now, on screen you are seeing a link to a different video. Hit the link on the screen if you are interested in watching it.